Chapter 34 Sales and Trade. Chapter 1 What has come in the statement of Allah Ta'ala. Then, when the Salat is ended, you may disperse through the land and seek the bounty of Allah. Narrated Abu Hurairah. You people say that Abu Hurairah tells many narrations from Allah's Messenger, and you also wonder why the emigrants and Ansar do not narrate from Allah's Messenger, as Abu Hurairah does. My emigrant brothers were busy in the market while I used to stick to Allah's Messenger, content with what fills my stomach. So I used to be present when they were absent, and I used to remember when they used to forget, and my Ansari brothers used to be busy with their properties, and I was one of the poor men of Sufa. I used to remember the narrations when they used to forget. No doubt, Allah's Messenger once said, "Whoever spreads his garment till I have finished my present speech, and then gathers it to himself, will remember whatever I will say." So I spread my colored garment which I was wearing till Allah's Messenger had finished his saying, and then I gathered it to my chest, so I did not forget any of that narrations. Narrated Ibrahim bin Sa'd from his father, from his grandfather. Abdurrahman bin Auf said, "When we came to Medina as emigrants, Allah's Messenger established a bond of brotherhood between me and Sa'd bin ar-Rabi. Sa'd bin ar-Rabi said to me, 'I am the richest among the Ansar, so I will give you half of my wealth, and you may look at my 2 wives, and whichever of the 2 you may choose, I will divorce her. And when she has completed the prescribed period before marriage, you may marry her.' Abdurrahman replied, 'I am not in need of all that. Is there any marketplace where trade is practiced?' He replied, 'The market of Kainuka.' Abdurrahman went to that market the following day and brought some dried buttermilk, yogurt and butter, and then he continued going there regularly. A few days later, Abdurrahman came having traces of yellow scent on his body. Allah's Messenger asked him whether he had got married. He replied in the affirmative. The Prophet said, 'Whom have you married?' He replied, 'A woman from the Ansar.' Then the Prophet asked, 'How much did you pay her?' He replied, 'I gave her a gold piece equal in weight to a date stone, or a date stone of gold.' The Prophet said, 'Give a walima wedding banquet, even if with 1 sheep.' Narrated Anas. When Abdurrahman bin Auf came to Medina, the Prophet established a bond of brotherhood between him and Sa'd bin ar-Rabi al-Ansari. Sa'd was a rich man, so he said to Abdurrahman, 'I will give you half of my property and will help you marry.' Abdurrahman said to him, 'May Allah bless you in your family and property. Show me the market.' So Abdurrahman did not return from the market till he gained some dried buttermilk, yogurt, and butter through trading. He brought that to his household. We stayed for some time, or as long as Allah wished, and then Abdurrahman came, scented with yellowish perfume. The Prophet said to him, 'What is this?' He replied, 'I got married to an Ansari woman.' The Prophet asked, 'What did you pay her?' He replied, a gold stone, or gold equal to the weight of a date stone. The prophet said to him, Give a wedding banquet, even if with one sheep. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Ukas, Majana and Dul Majas were marketplaces in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance. When Islam came, Muslims felt that marketing there might be a sin, so the divine inspiration came. There is no harm for you to seek the bounty of your Lord in the seasons of Hajj. 298. Ibn Abbas recited the verse in this way. Chapter 2. Legal, illegal and doubtful things. Narrated An Nu'man bin Bashir. The Prophet said, both legal and illegal things are obvious, and in between them are suspicious, doubtful matters. So whoever forsakes those doubtful things, lest he may commit a sin, will definitely avoid what is clearly illegal, and whoever indulges in these suspicious, doubtful things bravely is likely to commit what is clearly illegal. Sins are Allah's hima, a private pasture, and whoever pastures his sheep near it is likely to get in it at any moment. Chapter 3. Explanation of doubtful, unclear things. Narrated Abdullah bin Abu Mulaika. Uqba bin al-Harith said that a black woman came and claimed that she had suckled both of them, Uqba and his wife. So we mentioned that to the Prophet, who turned his face from him and smiled and said, How can you keep your wife? And it was said that both of you were suckled by the same woman. His wife was the daughter of Abu Ihab al-Tamimi. Narrated Aisha. Utbah bin Abu Waqqas took a firm promise from his brother Sa'd bin Abu Waqqas to take the son of the slave girl of Sam into his custody, as he was his Utbah's son, in the year of the conquest of Mecca. Sa'd bin Abu Waqqas took him and said that he was his brother's son, and his brother took a promise from him to that effect. Abu bin Sama got up and said, He is my brother and the son of the slave girl of my father, and was born on my father's bed. Then they both went to the Prophet. Sa'd said, O Allah's Messenger, he is the son of my brother, and he has taken a promise from me that I will take him. Abu bin Sama said, He is my brother and the son of my father's slave girl, and was born on my father's bed. Allah's Messenger said, The boy is for you, O Abu bin Sama. Then the Prophet said, The son is for the bed, the man on whose bed he was born, and stones disappointment and deprivation for the one who has done illegal sexual intercourse. The Prophet told his wife Savda bint Sama to screen herself from the boy, as he noticed a similarity between the boy and Utbah, so the boy did not see her till he died. Narrated Adi bin Hatim. I asked Allah's Messenger about al-mirad, a sharp-edged piece of wood, or a piece of wood provided with a piece of iron used for hunting. He replied, If the game is hit by its sharp edge, eat it, and if it is hit by its broad side, do not eat it, for it has been beaten to death. I asked, O Allah's Messenger, I release my dog by the name of Allah, and find with it at the game another dog on which I have not mentioned the name of Allah, and I do not know which one of them caught the game. Allah's Messenger said to him, Don't eat it as you have mentioned the name of Allah on your dog and not on the other dog. Chapter 4. What doubtful, unclear things should be avoided. Narrated Anas. The Prophet passed by a fallen date and said, "Were it not for my doubt that this might have been given in charity, I would have eaten it." And narrated Abu Huraira, the Prophet said, "I found a date fruit fallen on my bed." Chapter 5. Whoever does not consider dark suggestions. Narrated Abbas bin Tamim. That his uncle said, the Prophet was asked, if a person feels something during his prayer, should one interrupt his prayer? The Prophet said, no, you should not give it up unless you hear a sound or smell something. Narrated Ibn Abi Hafsa. As-Suri said, there is no need of repeating ablution unless you detect a smell or hear a sound. Narrated Aisha. Some people said, O Allah's Messenger, meat is brought to us by some people, and we are not sure whether the name of Allah has been mentioned on it or not at the time of slaughtering the animals. Allah's Messenger said to them, mention the name of Allah and eat it. Chapter 6. The statement of Allah Azza wa Jal. And when they see some merchandise or some amusement, they disperse headlong to it. Narrated Jabir. While we were offering the prayer with the Prophet, a caravan carrying food came from Sham. The people looked towards the caravan and went to it, and only 12 persons remained with the Prophet, so the divine inspiration came. But when they see some bargain or some amusement, they disperse headlong to it. 62:11. Chapter 7. One who does not care from where he earns. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, a time will come when one will not care how one gains one's money legally or illegally. Chapter 8. Trade of cloth and other things. Narrated Abu al-Minhal. I used to practice money exchange, and I asked Zayd bin Arqam about it, and he narrated what the Prophet said in the following. Abu al-Minhal said, I asked al-Bara bin Asib and Zayd bin Arqam about practicing money exchange. They replied, we were traders in the time of Allah's Messenger, and I asked Allah's Messenger about money exchange. He replied, if it is from hand to hand, there is no harm in it, otherwise it is not permissible. Chapter 9. Going out for trading. Narrated Ubayd bin Umayr. Abu Musa asked Umar to admit him, but he was not admitted as Umar was busy, so Abu Musa went back. When Umar finished his job, he said, didn't I hear the voice of Abdullah bin Qais? Let him come in. Umar was told that he had left, so he sent for him, and on his arrival, Abu Musa said, we were ordered to do so, to leave if not admitted, after asking permission thrice. Umar told him, bring witness in proof of your statement. Abu Musa went to the Ansar's meeting places and asked them. They said, none amongst us will give this witness except the youngest of us. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Abu Musa then took Abu Sa'id al-Khudri to Umar, and Umar said surprisingly, has this order of Allah's Messenger been hidden from me? Then he added, I used to be busy trading in markets. Chapter 10. Trading in sea. Abu Huraira said, Allah's Messenger mentioned a person from Bani Israel. who traveled by sea and carried out his needs. Then he narrated the whole story. See Hadith number 2291. Chapter 11. And when they see some merchandise or some amusement, they disperse headlong to it. Narrated Jabir. A caravan arrived at Medina while we were offering the Jummah prayer with the Prophet. The people left out for the caravan with the exception of 12 persons. Then this verse was revealed. But when they see some bargain or some amusement, they disperse headlong to it and leave you standing. 62:11. Chapter 12. Allah's statement. Spend of the good things which you have earned. Narrated Aisha. The Prophet said, if a woman gives in charity from her house meals without wasting, being extravagant, she will get the reward for her giving, and her husband will also get the reward for his earning, and the storekeeper will also get a similar reward. The acquisition of the reward of none of them will reduce the reward of the others. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, if a woman gives something in charity from her husband's earnings without his permission, she will get half his reward. Chapter 13. Whoever liked to expand in his sustenance. Narrated Anas bin Malik. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, whoever desires an expansion in his sustenance and age should keep good relations with his kith and kin. Chapter 14. The Prophet saw purchase food grains on credit. Narrated Aisha. The Prophet purchased food grains from a Jew on credit and mortgaged his iron armor to him. Narrated Qatada. Anas went to the Prophet with barley bread, having some dissolved fat on it. The Prophet had mortgaged his armor to a Jew in Medina, and took from him some barley for his family. Anas heard him saying, the household of Muhammad did not possess even a single saw of wheat or food grains for the evening meal, although he has 9 wives to look after. See Hadith number 685. Chapter 15. The earnings of a person and his manual labor. Narrated Aisha. When Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was chosen caliph, he said, my people know that my profession was not incapable of providing substance to my family, and as I will be busy serving the Muslim nation, my family will eat from the national treasury of Muslims, and I will practice the profession of serving the Muslims. Narrated Aisha. The companions of Allah's Messenger used to practice manual labor, so their sweat used to smell, and they were advised to take a bath. Narrated Al-Mikdam. The Prophet said, nobody has ever eaten a better meal than that which one has earned by working with one's own hands. The Prophet of Allah, David, used to eat from the earnings of his manual labor. Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger said, the Prophet David used not to eat except from the earnings of his manual labor. Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger said, no doubt it is better for any one of you to cut a bundle of wood and carry it over his back, rather than to ask someone who may or may not give him. Narrated As-Zubayr bin al-Awam. The Prophet said, one would rather take a rope and cut wood and carry it than ask others. Chapter 16. One should be lenient and generous in bargaining. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. Allah's Messenger said, may Allah's mercy be on him who is lenient in his buying, selling, and in demanding back his money. Chapter 17. Whoever gave time to a rich person to pay at his convenience. Narrated Hudayfa. The Prophet said, before your time, the angels received the soul of a man and asked him, did you do any good deeds in your life? He replied, I used to order my employees to grant time to the rich person to pay his debts at his convenience. So Allah said to his angels, excuse him. Rabbi said that the dead man said, I used to be easy to the rich and grant time to the poor, or in another narration, grant time to the well-off and forgive the needy, or accept from the well-off and forgive the needy. Chapter 18. A person in hard circumstances to pay debt when able to repay. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, there was a merchant who used to lend the people, and whenever his debtor was in straitened circumstances, he will say to his employees, forgive him so that Allah may forgive us. So Allah forgave him. Chapter 19. To explain the good and bad points of the transaction. Narrated Hakim bin Hizam. Allah's Messenger said, the seller and the buyer have the right to keep or return goods as long as they have not parted, or till they part. And if both the parties spoke the truth and described the defects and qualities of the goods, then they will be blessed in the transaction. And if they told lies or hid something, then the blessings of the transaction will be lost. Chapter 20. Selling of mixed dates. Narrated Abu Sa'id. We used to be given mixed dates from the booty and used to barter 2 saws of those dates for 1 saw of good dates. The Prophet said to us, no bartering of 2 saws for 1 saw, nor 2 dirhams for 1 dirham is permissible, as that is a kind of usury. See Hadith number 405. Chapter 21. What is said about the meat seller and the butcher. Narrated Abu Masud. An Ansari man called Abu Shuaib came and told his butcher slave, prepare meals sufficient for 5 persons, for I want to invite the Prophet along with 4 other persons, as I saw signs of hunger on his face. Abu Shuaib invited them, and another person came along with them. The Prophet said to Abu Shuaib, this man followed us, so if you allow him, he will join us, and if you want him to return, he will go back. Abu Shuaib said, no, I have allowed him, too is welcome to the meal. Chapter 22. The loss of blessings if one tells lies or hides the facts in a deal. Narrated Hakim bin Hizam. The Prophet aid the buyer and the seller have the option to cancel or to confirm the deal, as long as they have not parted or till they part. And if they spoke the truth and told each other the defects of the things, then blessings will be in their deal. And if they hid something and told lies, the blessing of the deal will be lost. Chapter 23. The statement of Allah Ta'ala. Eat not the riba, doubled and multiplied. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, certainly a time would come when people will not bother to know from where they earn their money, by lawful means or unlawful means. See Hadith number 250. Chapter 24. The sin of riba, its witness and its writer. Narrated Aisha. When the last verses of Surah Al-Baqarah were revealed, the Prophet recited them in the mosque and proclaimed the trade of alcohol as illegal. Narrated Samura bin Jundab. The Prophet said, this night I dreamt that two men came and took me to a holy land, whence we proceeded on till we reached a river of blood, where a man was standing, and on its bank was standing another man with stones in his hands. The man in the middle of the river tried to come out, but the other threw a stone in his mouth and forced him to go back to his original place. So whenever he tried to come out, the other man would throw a stone in his mouth and force him to go back to his former place. I asked, who is this? I was told, the person in the river was a riba eater. Chapter 25. The riba giver. Narrated Aun bin Abu Juhayfa. My father bought a slave who practiced the profession of cupping. My father broke the slave's instruments of cupping. I asked my father why he had done so. He replied, the Prophet forbade the acceptance of the price of a dog or blood, and also forbade the profession of tattooing, getting tattooed, and receiving or giving riba usury, and cursed the picture makers. Chapter 26. Allah will destroy riba and will give increase for sadaqat. Narrated Abu Huraira. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, the swearing by the seller may persuade the buyer to purchase the goods, but that will be deprived of Allah's blessing. Chapter 27. Giving oaths, swearing while selling. Narrated Abdullah bin Abu Aufa. A man displayed some goods in the market and swore by Allah that he had been offered so much for that which was not offered, and he said so as to cheat a Muslim. On that occasion, the following verse was revealed. Verily, those who purchase a small gain at the cost of Allah's covenant and their oaths, they shall have no portion in the hereafter, etc. 377. Chapter 28. What is said about the goldsmiths. Narrated Ali. I got an old she-camel as my share from the booty, and the Prophet had given me another from Al-Kumus, and when I intended to marry Fatima, daughter of the Prophet, I arranged that a goldsmith from the tribe of Bani Kainuka would accompany me in order to bring Itkir and then sell it to the goldsmiths, and use its price for my marriage banquet. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Allah's Messenger said, Allah made Mecca a sanctuary, and it was neither permitted for anyone before, nor will it be permitted for anyone after me to fight in it, and fighting in it was made was made legal for me for a few hours of a day. Only none is allowed to uproot its thorny shrubs, or to cut down its trees, or to chase its game, or to pick up its lukata, fallen things, except by a person who would announce it publicly. Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib requested the Prophet, accept al-idkir for our goldsmith and for the roofs of our houses. The Prophet said, accept al-idkir. Ikrimah said, do you know what is meant by chasing its game? It is to drive it out of the shade and sit in its place. Khalid said, Abbas said, al-idkir for our goldsmiths and our graves. Chapter 29. The mentioning of blacksmiths. Narrated Kebab. I was a blacksmith in a pre-Islamic period, and Asi bin Wa'il owed me some money, so I went to him to demand it. He said to me, I will not pay you unless you disbelieve Muhammad. I said, I will not disbelieve till Allah kills you and then you get resurrected. He said, leave me till I die and get resurrected, then I will be given wealth and children, and I will pay you your debt. On that occasion it was revealed to the Prophet, have you seen him who disbelieved in our signs and says, surely I will be given wealth and children? Has he known the unseen, or has he taken a covenant from the beneficent Allah? 1977-78. Chapter 30. The mentioning of the tailor. Narrated Ishaq bin Abdullah bin Abu Talha. I heard Anas bin Malik saying, a tailor invited Allah's messenger to a meal which he had prepared. Anas bin Malik said, I accompanied Allah's messenger to that meal. He served the Prophet with bread and soup made with gourd and dried meat. I saw the Prophet taking the pieces of gourd from the dish. Anas added, since that day I have continued to like gourd. Chapter 31. The Weaver. Narrated Abu Hasim. I heard Sahl bin Sa'd saying, a woman brought a burda, a square piece of cloth having edging. I asked, do you know what a burda is? They replied in the affirmative and said, it is a cloth sheet with woven margins. Sahl went on. She addressed the Prophet and said, I have woven it with my hands for you to wear. The Prophet took it as he was in need of it and came to us wearing it as a waist sheet. One of us said, O Allah's messenger, give it to me to wear. The Prophet agreed to give it to him. The Prophet sat with the people for a while and then returned home, wrapped that waist sheet and sent it to him. The people said to that man, you haven't done well by asking him for it, when you know that he never turns down anybody's request. The man replied, by Allah, I have not asked him for it except to use it as my shroud when I die. Sahl added later that sheet was his shroud. Chapter 32. The Carpenter. Narrated Abu Hasim. Some men came to Sahl bin Sa'd to ask him about the pulpit. He replied, Allah's messenger sent for a woman. Sahl named her. This message, order your slave carpenter to make pieces of wood, a pulpit, for me, so that I may sit on it while addressing the people. So she ordered him to make it from the tamarisk of the forest. He brought it to her, and she sent it to Allah's messenger. Allah's messenger ordered it to be placed in the mosque, so it was put, and he sat on it. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. An Ansari woman said to Allah's Messenger, "O Allah's Messenger, shall I make something for you to sit on, as I have a slave who is a carpenter?" He replied, "If you wish." So she got a pulpit made for him. When it was Friday, the Prophet sat on that pulpit. The date palm stem near which the Prophet used to deliver his sermons cried so much so that it was about to burst. The Prophet came down from the pulpit to the stem and embraced it, and it started groaning like a child being persuaded to stop crying, and then it stopped crying. The Prophet said, "It has cried because of missing what it used to hear of the religious knowledge." Chapter 33. The purchase by the ruler himself. Narrated Aisha. Allah's Messenger bought food grains from a Jew on credit and mortgaged his armor to him. Chapter 34. The purchase of animals and donkeys. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. I was with the Prophet in a Ghazwa military expedition, and my camel was slow and exhausted. The Prophet came up to me and said, "O Jabir," I replied. "Yes." He said, "What is the matter with you?" I replied, "My camel is slow and tired, so I am left behind." So he got down and poked the camel with his stick, and then ordered me to ride. I rode the camel, and it became so fast that I had to hold it from going ahead of Allah's Messenger. He then asked me, "Have you got married?" I replied in the affirmative. He asked, "A virgin or a matroon?" I replied, "I married a matroon." The Prophet said, "Why have you not married a virgin, so that you may play with her and she may play with you?" Jabir replied, "I have sisters young in age, so I like to marry a matron who could collect them all and comb their hair and look after them." The Prophet said, "You will reach, so when you have arrived at home, I advise you to associate with your wife, that you may have an intelligent son." Then he asked me, "Would you like to sell your camel?" I replied in the affirmative. And the Prophet purchased it for 1 ukiah of gold. Allah's Messenger reached before me, and I reached in the morning, and when I went to the mosque, I found him at the door of the mosque. He asked me, "Have you arrived just now?" I replied in the affirmative. He said, "Leave your camel and come into the mosque and pray 2 rakat. I entered and offered prayer. He told Bilal to weigh and give me 1 ukiah of gold. So Bilal weighed for me fairly, and I went away. The Prophet sent for me, and I thought that he would return to me my camel, which I hated more than anything else. But the Prophet said to me, "Take your camel as well as its price." Chapter 35. The markets of the pre-Islamic period of ignorance. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Ukaz, Majana and Dul Majaz were markets in the pre-Islamic period when the people embraced Islam. They considered it a sin to trade there, so the following holy verse came: "There is no harm for you if you seek of the bounty of your Lord Allah in the Hajj season." 298. Ibn Abbas recited it like this. Chapter 36. Purchasing of camels suffering from disease. Narrated Amr. Here, in Mecca, there was a man called Nabas, and he had camels suffering from the disease of excessive and unquenchable thirst. Ibn Umar went to the partner of Nabas and bought those camels. The man returned to Nabas and told him that he had sold those camels. Nabas asked him, "To whom have you sold them?" He replied, "To such and such sheikh." Nabas said, Woe to you, by Allah, that sheikh was Ibn Umar. Nawaz then went to Ibn Umar and said to him, My partner sold you camels suffering from the disease of excessive thirst, and he had not known you. Ibn Umar told him to take them back. When Nawaz went to take them, Ibn Umar said to him, Leave them there, as I am happy with the decision of Allah's messenger that there is no oppression. Chapter 37. Selling of arms during the period of Al-Fitna. Narrated Abu Qatada. We set out with Allah's messenger in the year of Hunayn. The Prophet gave me an armor. I sold that armor and bought a garden in the region of the tribe of Bani Salama, and that was the first property I got after embracing Islam. Chapter 38. The perfume seller and the seller of musk. Narrated Abu Musa. Allah's messenger said, The example of a good companion who sits with you in comparison with a bad one is like that of the musk seller and the blacksmith bellows or furnace. From the first you would either buy musk or enjoy its good smell, while the bellows would either burn your clothes or your house, or you get a bad nasty smell thereof. Chapter 39. Al-Hajjam, the one who practices cupping. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Abu Taiba cupped Allah's messenger, so he ordered that he be paid 1 sa of dates and ordered his masters to reduce his tax, as he was a slave and had to pay a tax to them. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Once the Prophet got his blood out medically and paid that person who had done it. If it had been illegal, the Prophet would not have paid him. Chapter 40. The trade of cloth, wearing of which is undesirable. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Once the Prophet sent to Umar a silken 2-piece garment, and when he saw Umar wearing it, he said to him, I have not sent it to you to wear where it is worn by him who has no share in the hereafter, and I have sent it to you so that you could benefit by it, sell it. Narrated Aisha, mother of the faithful believers. I bought a cushion with pictures on it. When Allah's messenger saw it, he kept standing at the door and did not enter the house. I noticed a sign of disgust on his face, so I said, O Allah's messenger, I repent to Allah and his apostle. Please let me know what sin I have done. Allah's messenger said, What about this cushion? I replied, I bought it for you to sit and recline on. Allah's messenger said, The painters, owners of these pictures, will be punished on the day of resurrection. It will be said to them, Put life in what you have created, painted. The Prophet added, The angels do not enter a house where there are pictures. Chapter 41. The owner of a thing has to suggest a price. Narrated Anas. The Prophet said, O Bani Najjar, suggest a price for your garden. Part of it was a ruin, and it contained some date palms. Chapter 42. For what periods to confirm or cancel the bargain. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, The buyer and the seller have the option to cancel or confirm the bargain before they separate from each other, or if the sale is optional. Nafi said, Ibn Umar used to separate quickly from the seller if he had bought a thing which he liked. Narrated Hakim bin Hizam. The Prophet said, The buyer and the seller have the option of cancelling or confirming the deal unless they separate. Chapter 43. If the time for the option is not fixed, will the deal be considered as legal? Narrated Ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger said, the seller and the buyer have the option of cancelling or confirming the deal unless they separate or one of them says to the other, choose, decide to cancel or confirm the bargain now. Perhaps he said, or if it is an optional sale, Ibn Umar Shuray Ash-Shubi Tawus Atta and Ibn Abu Mulaika agree upon this judgment. Chapter 44. To cancel or confirm the bargain. Narrated Hakim bin Hisham. The Prophet said, the buyer and the seller have the option of cancelling or confirming the bargain unless they separate, and if they spoke the truth and made clear the defects of the goods, then they will be blessed in their bargains, in a bargain. And if they told lies and hid some facts, their bargains will be deprived of Allah's blessings. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger said, both the buyer and the seller have the option of cancelling or confirming a bargain unless they separate or the sale is optional. See Hadith number 320. Chapter 45. The option of cancelling the bargain. Narrated Ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger said, both the buyer and the seller have the option of cancelling or confirming the bargain, as long as they are still together and unless they separate or one of them gives the other the option of keeping or returning the things and a decision is concluded, then in which case the bargain is considered final. If they separate after the bargain and none of them has rejected it, then the bargain is rendered final. Chapter 46. If the seller has the option of cancelling the bargain. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, no deal is settled and finalized unless the buyer and the seller separate, except if the deal is optional, whereby the validity of the bargain depends on the stipulations agreed upon. Narrated Hakim bin Hisham. The Prophet said, both the buyer and the seller have the option of cancelling or confirming the bargain unless they separate. The sub-narrator Hammam said, I found this in my book. Both the buyer and the seller give the option of either confirming or cancelling the bargain 3 times, and if they speak the truth and mention the defects from their bargain, will be blessed, and if they tell lies and conceal the defects, they might gain some financial gain, but they will deprive their sale of Allah's blessings. Chapter 47. To buy a thing and give it as a present. Narrated Ibn Umar Ra. We were accompanying the Prophet on a journey, and I was riding an unmanageable camel belonging to Umar Ra, and I could not bring it under my control, so it used to go ahead of the party, and Umar would check it and force it to retreat, and again it went ahead, and again Umar forced it to retreat. The Prophet asked Umar to sell that camel to him. Umar replied, it is for you, O Allah's Messenger. Allah's Messenger told Umar to sell that camel to him, not to give it as a gift, so Umar sold it to Allah's Messenger. Then the Prophet said to Abdullah bin Umar, this camel is for you, O Abdullah, as a present, and you could do with it whatever you like. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar Ra. I bartered my property in Khaybar to Uthman, chief of the faithful believers, for his property in Al-Wadi. When we finished the deal, I left immediately and got out of his house, lest he should cancel the deal, for the tradition was that the buyer and the seller had the option of cancelling the bargain unless they separated. When our deal was completed, I came to know that I have been unfair to Uthman, for by selling him my land I caused him to be in the land of Tamud, at a distance of 3 days' journey from Al-Medina, while he made me near to Al-Madinah, at a distance of 3 days' journey from my former land. Chapter 48. What is disliked as regards cheating in business? Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. A person came to the Prophet and told him that he was always betrayed in purchasing. The Prophet told him to say at the time of buying, "No cheating." Chapter 49. What is said about markets? Narrated Aisha. Allah's Messenger said, "An army will invade the Kaaba, and when the invaders reach Al-Baydah, all the ground will sink and swallow the whole army." I said, "O Allah's Messenger, how will they sink into the ground while amongst them will be their markets, the people who worked in business and not invaders, and the people not belonging to them?" The Prophet replied, "All of those people will sink, but they will be resurrected and judged according to their intentions." Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger said, "The congregational prayer of anyone amongst you is more than 25 or 27 times in reward than his prayer in the market or in his house. For if he performs ablution completely and then goes to the mosque with the sole intention of performing the prayer, and nothing urges him to proceed to the mosque except the prayer, then on every step which he takes towards the mosque, he will be raised 1 degree, or one of his sins will be forgiven. The angels will keep on asking Allah's forgiveness and blessings for every one of you so long as he keeps sitting at his praying place. The angels will say, O Allah, bless him. O Allah, be merciful to him, as long as he does not do hadat, or a thing which gives trouble to the other." The Prophet further said, "One is regarded in prayer so long as one is waiting for the prayer." Narrated Anas bin Malik. While the Prophet was in the market, somebody called, O Abul Qasim." The Prophet turned to him. The man said, "I called to this, yet another man." The Prophet said, "Name yourself by my name, but not by my kunya name." In Arabic world, it is the custom to call the man as the father of his eldest son, e.g. Abul Qasim. See Hadith number 737, volume 4. Narrated Anas. A man at Al-Baqi called, O Abul Qasim. The Prophet turned to him, and the man said to the Prophet, "I did not intend to call you." The Prophet said, "Name yourself by my name, but not by my kunya name." Narrated Abu Hurairah ad-Dausi. Once the Prophet went out during the day. Neither did he talk to me, nor I to him, till he reached the market of Bani Kainuka, and then he sat in the compound of Fatima's house and asked about the small boy, his grandson Al-Hassan. But Fatima kept the boy in for a while. I thought she was either changing his clothes or giving the boy a bath. After a while the boy came out running, and the Prophet embraced and kissed him, and then said, O Allah, love him, and love whoever loves him. Narrated Nafi. Ibn Umar told us that the people used to buy food from the caravans in the lifetime of the Prophet. The Prophet used to forbid them to sell it at the very place where they had purchased it, but they were to wait. till they carried it to the market where foodstuff was sold. Ibn Umar said, the Prophet also forbade the reselling of foodstuff by somebody who had bought it unless he had received it with exact full measure. Chapter 50. The dislike of raising voices in the market. Narrated Ata bin Yasar. I met Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As and asked him, tell me about the description of Allah's Messenger, which is mentioned in Torah, Old Testament. He replied, yes, by Allah, he is described in Torah with some of the qualities attributed to him in the Quran as follows. O Prophet, we have sent you as a witness for Allah's true religion, and a giver of glad tidings to the faithful believers, and a warner to the unbelievers, and guardian of the illiterates. You are my slave and my messenger, ye apostle. I have named you Al-Mutawakkil, who depends upon Allah. You are neither discourteous, harsh, nor a noisemaker in the markets, and you do not do evil to those who do evil to you, but you deal with them with forgiveness and kindness. Allah will not let him, the Prophet, die till he makes straight the crooked people by making them say, none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, with which will be opened blind eyes and deaf ears and enveloped hearts. Chapter 51. Weighing goods by the seller or the giver. Narrated Abdullah ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger said, he who buys foodstuff should not sell it till he is satisfied with the measure with which he has bought it. Narrated Jabir. Abdullah bin Amr bin Haram died and was in debt to others. I asked the Prophet to intercede with his creditors for some reduction in the debts. The Prophet requested them to reduce the debts, but they refused. The Prophet said to me, go and put your dates in heaps according to their different kinds. The Ajwa on one side, the cluster of Ibn Said on the another side, etc. Then call me. I did that and called the Prophet. He came and sat at the head or in the middle of the heaps and ordered me, measure the dates for the people, creditors. I measured for them till I paid all the debts. My dates remained as if nothing had been taken from them. In other narrations, Jabir said, the Prophet said, Abdullah continued measuring for them till he paid all the debts. The Prophet said to Abdullah, cut clusters for him, one of the creditors, and measure for him fully. Chapter 52. What is considered preferable regarding measuring. Narrated Al-Miqdam bin Madiyakrib. The Prophet said, measure your foodstuff and you will be blessed. Chapter 53. Allah's blessing in the saw and mud of the Prophet saws. Narrated Abdullah bin Said. The Prophet said, the Prophet Abraham made Mecca a sanctuary and asked for Allah's blessing in it. I made Medina a sanctuary as Abraham made Mecca a sanctuary, and I asked for Allah's blessing in its measures, the mud and the saw, as Abraham did for Mecca. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Allah's Messenger said, O Allah, bestow your blessings on their measures, bless their mud and saw. The Prophet meant the people of Medina. Chapter 54. The selling of the foodstuff and its storage. Narrated Salim. that his father said, I saw those who used to buy foodstuff without measuring or weighing in the lifetime of the Prophet being punished if they sold it before carrying it to their own houses. Narrated taboos. Ibn Abbas said, Allah's Messenger forbade the selling of foodstuff before its measuring and transferring into one's possession. I asked Ibn Abbas, how is that? Ibn Abbas replied, it will be just like selling money for money, as the foodstuff has not been handed over to the first purchaser, who is the present seller. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, he who buys foodstuff should not sell it till he has received it. Narrated As-Suri from Malik bin Aus, that the latter said, who has change? Talas said, I will have change. When our storekeeper comes from the forest, Malik bin Aus narrated from Umar bin al-Khattab, Allah's Messenger said, the bartering of gold for gold is riba, usury, except if it is from hand to hand and equal in amount, and wheat grain for wheat grain is usury, except if it is from hand to hand and equal in amount, and dates for dates is usury, except if it is from hand to hand and equal in amount, and barley for barley is usury, except if it is from hand to hand and equal in amount. Chapter 55. The selling of the foodstuff before receiving it. Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet forbade the selling of foodstuff before receiving it. I consider that all types of sellings should be done similarly. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, the buyer of foodstuff should not sell it before it has been measured for him. Ismail narrated instead, he should not sell it before receiving it. Chapter 56. Whoever bought foodstuff without measuring or weighing should not sell before bringing into the house. Narrated Ibn Umar. I saw the people buy foodstuff randomly, yet blindly, without measuring it, in the lifetime of Allah's Apostle, and they were punished by beating, if they tried to sell it before carrying it to their own houses. Chapter 57. If somebody buys some goods or an animal and let it with the seller, or it dies before he takes it into his possession. Narrated Aisha. Rarely did the Prophet fail to visit Abu Bakr's house every day, either in the morning or in the evening. When the permission for migration to Medina was granted, all of a sudden the Prophet came to us at noon, and Abu Bakr was informed, who said, certainly the Prophet has come for some urgent matter. The Prophet said to Abu Bakr when the latter entered, let nobody stay in your home. Abu Bakr said, O Allah's Messenger, there are only my two daughters, namely Aisha and Asma, present. The Prophet said, I am informed that I have been granted the permission for migration. Abu Bakr said, I will accompany you, O Allah's Messenger. The Prophet said, you will accompany me. Abu Bakr then said, O Allah's Messenger, I have 2 she-camels I have prepared specially for migration, so I offer you one of them. The Prophet said, I have accepted it on the condition that I will pay its price. Chapter 58. Not to cancel a bargain already agreed upon. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger said, "Do not urge somebody to return what he has already bought, in optional sale, from another seller, so as to sell him your own goods." Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger forbade the selling of things by a town dweller on behalf of a desert dweller, and similarly, Nach was forbidden, and one should not urge somebody to return the goods to the seller so as to sell him his own goods, nor should one demand the hand of a girl who has already been engaged to someone else, and a woman should not try to cause some other woman to be divorced in order to take her place. Chapter 59. Selling by auction. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. A man decided that a slave of his would be manumitted after his death, and later on he was in need of money. So the Prophet took the slave and said, "Who will buy the slave from me?" Nuaym bin Abdullah bought him for such and such price, and the Prophet gave him the slave. Chapter 60. An-Nais. Narrated Ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger forbade Nach. Chapter 61. Al-Gharar and the Habal il-Habala. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger forbade the sale called Habal al-Habala, which was a kind of sale practiced in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance. One would pay the price of a she-camel, which was not born yet, would be born by the immediate offspring of an extant she-camel. Chapter 62. Al-Limas or Mulamasa. Narrated Abu Sa'id. Allah's Messenger forbade the selling by Munabala, to sell one's garment by casting it to the buyer, not allowing him to examine or see it. Similarly, he forbade the selling by Mulamasa. Mulamasa is to buy a garment, for example, by merely touching it, not looking at it. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet forbade two kinds of dressing. One of them is to sit with one's legs drawn up while wrapped in one garment. The other is to lift that garment on one's shoulders, and also forbade two kinds of sale, al-limais and an-nibad. Chapter 63. Munabada. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger forbade the selling by Mulamasa and Munabada. Narrated Abu Sa'id. The Prophet forbade two kinds of dresses and two kinds of sale, Mulamasa and Munabada. Chapter 64. The seller is not allowed to keep animal unmilked for a long time. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "Don't keep camels and sheep unmilked for a long time, for whoever buys such an animal has the option to milk it, and then either to keep it or return it to the owner, along with one saw of dates." Some narrated from Ibn Sirin that the Prophet had said, "One saw of wheat, and he has the option for 3 days," and some narrated from Ibn Sirin, "A saw of dates," not mentioned the option for 3 days, but a saw of dates is mentioned in most narrations. Narrated Abdullah bin Masud. Whoever buys a sheep which has not been milked for a long time has the option of returning it along with one saw of dates, and the Prophet forbade going to meet the seller on the way, as he has no knowledge of the market price and he may sell his goods at a low price. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, Do not go forward to meet the caravan to buy from it on the way before it reaches the town, and do not urge buyers to cancel their purchases to sell them your own goods yourself. And do not practice nudge. A town dweller should not sell the goods for a desert dweller. Do not leave sheep unmilked for a long time when they are on sale, and whoever buys such an animal has the option of returning it after milking it along with the sow of dates or keeping it. It has been kept unmilked for a long period by the seller to deceive others. Chapter 65. Returning an animal after milking it. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, whoever buys a sheep which has been kept unmilked for a long period and milks it can keep it if he is satisfied, and if he is not satisfied, he can return it, but he should pay 1 saw of dates for the milk. Chapter 66. The selling of an adulterous slave. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, if a slave girl commits illegal sexual intercourse and it is proved beyond doubt, then her owner should lash her and should not blame her after the legal punishment. And then if she repeats the illegal sexual intercourse, he should lash her again and should not blame her after the legal punishment. And if she commits it a third time, then he should sell her even for a hair rope. Narrated Abu Huraira and Zayd bin Khalid. Allah's Messenger was asked about the slave girl, if she was a virgin and committed illegal sexual intercourse. The Prophet said, if she committed illegal sexual intercourse, lash her, and if she did it the second time, then lash her again, and if she repeated it the third time, then sell her even for a hair rope. Ibn Shihab said, I don't know whether to sell her after the third or fourth offense. Chapter 67. Dealing with women in selling and buying. Narrated Aisha. Allah's Messenger came to me and I told him about the slave girl, Buraira. Allah's Messenger said, buy and manumit her, for the wala is for the one who manumits. In the evening the Prophet got up and glorified Allah as he deserved, and then said, why do some people impose conditions which are not present in Allah's book's laws? Whoever imposes such a condition as is not in Allah's laws, then that condition is invalid even if he imposes 100 conditions, for Allah's conditions are more binding and reliable. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Aisha wanted to buy Buraira, and he, the Prophet, went out for the prayer. When he returned, she told him that they, her masters, refused to sell her except on the condition that her wala could go to them. The Prophet replied, the wala would go to him who manumits. Hammam asked Nafi whether her Buraira's husband was a free man or a slave. He replied that he did not know. Chapter 68. Is it permissible for a person from the town to sell the goods of a desert dweller? Narrated Jarir. I have given a pledge of allegiance to Allah's Messenger, for to testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and Muhammad is his apostle, to offer prayers perfectly, to pay zakat, to listen to and obey Allah's and his Prophet's orders, and to give good advice to every Muslim. Narrated Tawus. Ibn Abbas said, Allah's Messenger said, do not go to meet the caravans on the way for buying their goods without letting them know the market price. A town dweller should not sell the goods of a desert dweller on behalf of the latter. I asked Ibn Abbas, what does it mean by not selling the goods of a desert dweller by a town dweller? He said, he should not become his broker. Chapter 69. Whoever hated that an urban person should sell the goods of a desert dweller and charge him for that. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger forbade the selling of the goods of a desert dweller by a town person. Chapter 70. A town dweller should not buy goods for a desert dweller and charge commission as a broker. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, a buyer should not urge a seller to restore a purchase so as to buy it himself, and do not practice nash, and a town dweller should not sell goods of a desert dweller. Narrated Anas bin Malik. We were forbidden that a town dweller should sell goods of a desert dweller. Chapter 71. It is forbidden to meet the caravans on the way to buy the goods away from the market. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet forbade the meeting of caravans on the way and the selling of goods by an inhabitant of the town on behalf of a desert dweller. Narrated Tawus. I asked Ibn Abbas, what is the meaning of no town dweller should sell or buy for a desert dweller? Ibn Abbas said, it means he should not become his broker. Narrated Abdullah. Whoever buys an animal which has been kept unmilked for a long time could return it, but has to pay a soft dates along with it. And the Prophet forbade meeting the owners of goods on the way away from the market. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger said, you should not try to cancel the purchases of one another to get the benefit thereof, and do not go ahead to meet the caravan for buying the goods, but wait till it reaches the market. Chapter 72. The limits to which one can go ahead to meet the caravan. Narrated Abdullah. We used to go ahead to meet the caravan and used to buy foodstuff from them. The Prophet forbade us to sell it till it was carried to the market. Narrated Abdullah. Some people used to buy foodstuff at the head of the market and used to sell it on the spot. Allah's Apostle forbade them to sell it till they brought it to their places. Chapter 73. If somebody imposes conditions in selling against the Islamic law. Narrated Urwa. Aisha said, Barira came to me and said, I have agreed with my masters to pay them 9 uqiyas of gold in the installments, 1 uqiyah per year. Please help me. I said, I am ready to pay the whole amount, now provided your masters agree that your wala will be for me. So Barira went to her masters and told them about that offer, but they refused to accept it. She returned, and at that time Allah's Messenger was sitting present. Barira said, I told them of the offer, but they did not accept it and insisted on having the wala. The Prophet heard that. Aisha narrated the whole story to the Prophet. He said to her, buy her and stipulate that her wala would be yours, as the wala is for the manomimeter. Aisha did so. Then Allah's Messenger stood up in front of the people, and after glorifying Allah, he said, Amma badu, then after, what about the people who impose conditions which are not in Allah's book laws? Any condition that is not in Allah's book laws is invalid, even if they were 100 conditions. For Allah's decisions are the right ones, and His conditions are strong ones, firmer, and the wala will be for the manomimeter. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Aisha, mother of the faithful believers, wanted to buy a slave girl and manomit her, but her masters said that they would sell her only on the condition that her wala will be for them. Aisha told Allah's Messenger of that, He said, what they stipulate should not hinder you from buying her, as the wala is for the manumitted. Chapter 74. Selling of dates for dates. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, the selling of wheat for wheat is riba, usury, except if it is handed from hand to hand and equal in amount. Similarly, the selling of barley for barley is riba, except if it is from hand to hand and equal in amount. And dates for date is usury, except if it is from hand to hand and equal in amount. See riba fadl in the glossary. Chapter 75. The selling of dried grapes for dried grapes and meals for meals. Narrated Ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger forbade musabana, and musabana is the selling of fresh dates for dried old dates by measure, and the selling of fresh grapes for dried grapes by measure. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet forbade musabana, and musabana is the selling of fresh fruit without measuring it for something by measure on the basis that if that thing turns to be more than the fruit, the increase will be for the seller of the fruit, and if it turns to be less, then that will be of his lot. Narrated Ibn Umar from Zayd bin Thabit that the Prophet allowed the selling of the fruits on the trees after estimation when they are ripe. Chapter 76. Selling of barley for barley. Narrated Ibn Shihab that Malik bin Aus said, I was in need of change for 100 dinars. Talha bin Ubaydullah called me and we discussed the matter, and he agreed to change my dinars. He took the gold pieces in his hands and fidgeted with them, and then said, wait till my storekeeper comes from the forest. Umar was listening to that and said, by Allah, you should not separate from Talha till you get the money from him, for Allah's Messenger said, the selling of gold for gold is riba, usury, except if the exchange is from hand to hand and equal in amount. And similarly, the selling of wheat for wheat is riba, usury, unless it is from hand to hand and equal in amount. And the selling of barley for barley is usury, unless it is from hand to hand and equal in amount. And dates for dates is usury, unless it is from hand to hand and equal in amount. Chapter 77. Selling of gold for gold. Narrated Abu Bakr. Allah's Messenger said, don't sell gold for gold unless equal in weight, nor silver for silver unless equal in weight, but you could sell gold for gold. But you could sell gold for silver or silver for gold as you like. Chapter 78. Selling of silver for silver. Narrated Abu Sa'id. Concerning exchange, that he heard Allah's Messenger saying, do not sell gold for gold unless equal in weight, and do not sell silver unless equal in weight. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Allah's Messenger said, do not sell gold for gold unless equivalent in weight, and do not sell less amount for greater amount or vice versa, and do not sell silver for silver unless equivalent in weight, and do not sell less amount for greater amount or vice versa, and do not sell gold or silver that is not present at the moment of exchange for gold or silver that is present. Chapter 79. Selling of dinar for dinar on credit. Narrated Abu Salih as-Sayyat. I heard Abu Sa'id al-Khudri saying, the selling of a dinar for a dinar and a dirham for a dirham is permissible. I said to him, Ibn Abbas does not say the same. Abu Sa'id replied, I asked Ibn Abbas whether he had heard it from the Prophet or seen it in the Holy Book. Ibn Abbas replied, I do not claim that, and you know Allah's Messenger. better than I. But Usama informed me that the Prophet had said, "There is no riba in money exchange except when it is not done from hand to hand, yet when there is delay in payment." Chapter 80. Selling of silver for gold on delayed payment. Narrated Abu al-Minhal. I asked Al-Bara bin Asib and Zayd bin Arqam about money exchange. Each of them said, "This is better than I." And both of them said, "Allah's Messenger forbade the selling of silver for gold on credit." Chapter 81. Selling of gold for silver from hand to hand. Narrated Abdurrahman bin Abi Bakr. That his father said, "The Prophet forbade the selling of gold for gold and silver for silver, except if they are equivalent in weight, and allowed us to sell gold for silver and vice versa as we wished." Chapter 82. Al-Musabana al-Araya. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger said, "Do not sell fruits of dates until they become free from all the dangers of being spoilt or blighted, and do not sell fresh dates for dry dates." Narrated Salim and Abdullah from Zayd bin Habit. Later on, Allah's Messenger permitted the selling of ripe fruits and on trees for fresh dates or dry dates in Bay al-Araya, and did not allow it for any other kind of sale. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger forbade Musabana, and Musabana means the selling of fresh dates on the trees for dried dates by measure, and also the selling of fresh grapes for dried grapes by measure. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Allah's Messenger forbade Musabana and Muhakala, and Musabana means the selling of ripe dates for dates still on the trees. Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet forbade Musabana and Muhakala. Narrated Zayd bin Thabit. Allah's Messenger allowed the owner of Araya to sell the fruits on the trees by means of estimation. Allowed. Chapter 83. The selling of dates still on trees. Narrated Jabir. The Prophet forbade the selling of fruits unless they get ripe, and none of them should be sold except for dinar or dirham, yet money, except the araya trees, the dates of which could be sold for dates. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet allowed the sale of the dates of araya, provided they were about 5 awsuk singular wasak, which means 60 sas or less in amount. Narrated Sal bin Abu Hatma. Allah's Messenger forbade the selling of fruits, fresh dates, for dried dates, but allowed the sale of fruits on the araya by estimation, and their new owners might eat their dates fresh. Sufyan in another narration said, "I told Yahya, a sub-narrator, when I was a mere boy, Meccans say that the Prophet allowed them the sale of the fruits on araya by estimation." Yahya asked, "How do the Meccans know about it?" I replied, "They narrated it from the Prophet through Jabir." On that, Yahya kept quiet. Sufyan said, "I meant that Jabir belonged to Medina." Sufyan was asked whether in Jabir's narration there was any prohibition of selling fruits before their benefit is evident. yet no dangers of being spoilt or blighted. He replied that there was none. Chapter 84, Araya. Narrated Ibn Umar from Said bin Thabit. Allah's Messenger allowed the sale of Araya by estimating the dates on them for measured amounts of dry dates. Musa bin Uqba said, Al-Araya were distinguished date palms. One could come and buy them, yet their fruits. Chapter 85. The sale of fruits before their benefit is evident. Said bin Thabit Ra said, in the lifetime of Allah's Messenger, the people used to trade with fruits. When they cut their date fruits and the purchasers came to receive their rights, the seller would say, my dates have got rotten. They are blighted with disease. They are afflicted with kusam, a disease which causes the fruit to fall before ripening. They will go on complaining of defects in their purchases. Allah's Messenger said, do not sell the fruits before their benefit is evident, yet free from all the dangers of being spoiled or blighted, by way of advice, for they quarreled too much. Kharija bin Said bin Thabit said that Said bin Thabit Ra used not to sell the fruits of his land till Pleiades appeared, and one could distinguish the yellow fruits from the red ripe ones. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger forbade the sale of fruits till their benefit is evident. He forbade both the seller and the buyer such sale. Narrated Anas. Allah's Messenger forbade the sale of date fruits till they were ripe. Abu Abdullah al-Bukhari said, that means till they were red, can be eaten. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. The Prophet forbade the of date fruits till they were red or yellow and fit for eating. Chapter 86. The sale of date palms before their benefit is evident. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet forbade the sale of fruits till their benefit is evident, and the sale of date palms till the dates are almost ripe. He was asked what are almost ripe meant. He replied, got red and yellow. Chapter 87. If somebody sells fruit before their benefit is evident. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Allah's Messenger forbade the sale of fruits till they are almost ripe. He was asked, what is meant by are almost ripe? He replied, till they become red. Allah's Messenger further said, if Allah spoiled the fruits, what right would one have to take the money of one's brother, yet other people? Narrated Ibn Shihab. If somebody bought fruits before their benefit is evident, and then the fruits were spoiled with blights, the loss will be suffered by the owner, not the buyer. Narrated Salim bin Abdullah from Ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger said, do not sell or buy fruits before their benefit was evident, and do not sell fresh fruits, dates for dry dates. Chapter 88. To buy foodstuff on credit. Narrated Aisha. The Prophet bought some foodstuff from a Jew on credit and mortgaged his armor to him. Chapter 89. To buy dates for Riba al-Fadl. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri and Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger appointed somebody as a governor of Khaybar. That governor brought to him an excellent kind of dates from Khaybar. The Prophet asked, are all the dates of Khaybar like this? He replied, by Allah, no, O Allah's Messenger, but we barter one saw of this type of dates for 2 saws of dates of ours, and 2 saws of it for 3 of ours. Allah's Messenger said, do not do so, as that is a kind of usury, but sell the mixed dates of inferior quality for money and then buy good dates with that money. Chapter 90. Sold or rented date palms which were pollinated of land which was sown. Narrated Nafi, the freed slave of Ibn Umar. If pollinated date palms are sold and nothing is mentioned in the contract about the fruits will go to the person who has pollinated them, and so will be the case with the slave and the cultivator. Nafi mentioned those three things. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger said, if somebody sells pollinated date palms, the fruits will be for the seller unless the buyer stipulates that they will be for himself and the seller agrees. Chapter 91. The sale of unharvested crops for a measured quantity of foodstuff. Narrated Ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger forbade al-Musabana, yet to sell ungathered dates of one's garden for measured dried dates, or fresh ungathered grapes for measured dried grapes, or standing crops for measured quantity of foodstuff. He forbade all such bargains. Chapter 92. The sale of date palms completely. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, whoever pollinates date palms and then sells them, the fruits will belong to him unless the buyer stipulates that the fruits should belong to him and the seller agrees. Chapter 93. By al-Muqaddara. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Allah's Messenger forbade muqaddara, mulamasa, munabada, and musabana. See glossary and previous hadiths for the meanings of these terms. Narrated Humayd. Anas said, the Prophet forbade the selling of dates till they were almost ripe. We asked Anas, what does almost ripe means? He replied, they get red and yellow. The Prophet added, if Allah destroyed the fruits present on the trees, what right would the seller have to take the money of his brother, somebody else? Chapter 94. The sale and eating of spadiks. Narrated Ibn Umar. I was with the Prophet while he was eating fresh dates. He said, from trees. There is a tree which resembles a faithful believer. I wanted to say that it was the date palm, but I was the youngest among them, so I kept quiet. He added, it is the date palm. Chapter 95. Where there is no fixed judgment, the traditions and conventions of community are to be referred. Shurayh told the weavers, you are permitted to follow your own conventions to solve your problems. It is legal for you to stick to your traditions in bargain. Narrated Abdul Wahhab. Ayub said, Muhammad said, there is no harm in selling for 11 what you buy for 10, and you are allowed to take a profit for expenses. The Prophet told Hind, take what is reasonable and sufficient for you and your sons. Allah says, whoever is poor can eat from the orphan's property reasonably, according to his labors. Al-Hassan hired a donkey from Abdullah bin Mirdas and asked him about the hire. The latter replied that it was for 2 daniks. A danik equals 116th dirham. So Al-Hassan rode away another time. Al-Hassan came to Abdullah bin Mirdas and asked him to hire the donkey to him, and rode away without asking him about the hire, but they sent him half a dirham. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Abu Taibah cupped Allah's Messenger, and so Allah's Messenger ordered that a saw of dates be paid to him, and ordered his masters, for he was a slave, to reduce his tax. Narrated Aisha. Hind, the mother of Muawiyah, said to Allah's messenger, Abu Sufyan, her husband, is a miser. Am I allowed to take from his money secretly? The Prophet said to her, You and your sons may take what is sufficient, reasonably and fairly. Narrated Hisham bin Urwa from his father, who heard Aisha saying, The holy verse, whoever amongst the guardians is rich, he should take no wages from the property of the orphans. But if he is poor, let him have for himself what is just and reasonable, according to his labors. 4:6 was revealed concerning the guardian of the orphans, who looks after them and manages favorably their financial affairs. If the guardian is poor, he could have from it what is just and reasonable, according to his labors. Chapter 96. Selling of a joint property by one to the other. Narrated Jabir. Allah's messenger gave preemption to the partner in every joint property, but if the boundaries of the property were demarcated, or the ways and the streets were fixed, then there was no preemption. Chapter 97. The sale of undivided common belongings. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. Allah's messenger decided the validity of preemption in every joint, undivided property, but if the boundaries were well marked, or the ways and the streets were fixed, then there was no preemption. Narrated Musaddad from Abdul Wahid. The same as above, but said, in every joint, undivided thing. Narrated Hisham from Mamar. The same as above, but said, in every property. Chapter 98. If somebody buys something for another without his permission and the latter accepts it. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, while 3 persons were walking, a rain began to fall and they had to enter a cave in a mountain. A big rock rolled over and blocked the mouth of the cave. They said to each other, Invoke Allah with the best deed you have performed, so Allah might remove the rock. One of them said, O Allah, my parents were old and I used to go out for grazing my animals. On my return, I will milk the animals and take the milk in a vessel to my parents to drink. After they had drunk from it, I will give it to my children, family and wife. One day I was delayed on my return. I found my parents sleeping and I disliked to wake them up. The children were crying at my feet because of hunger. That state of affairs continued till it was dawn. O Allah, if you regard that I did it for your sake, then please remove this rock so that we may see the sky. So the rock was moved a bit. The second said, O Allah, you know that I was in love with a cousin of mine, like the deepest love a man may have for a woman, and she told me that I will not get my desire fulfilled unless I paid her 100 dinars, gold pieces. So I struggled for it till I gathered the desired amount, and when I sat in between her legs, she told me to be afraid of Allah and asked me not to deflower her except rightfully by marriage. So I got up and left her. O Allah, if you regard that I did it for your sake, kindly remove this rock. So 2/3 of the rock was removed. Then the third man said, O Allah, no doubt you know that once I employed a worker for 1 farak, 3 sas of millet, and when I wanted to pay him, he refused to take it. So I sowed it, and from sowed it. and from its yield I bought cows and shepherd. After a time that man came and demanded his money. I said to him, Go to those cows and the shepherd and take them, for they are for you. He asked me whether I was joking with him. I told him that I was not joking with him, and all that belonged to him. O Allah, if you regard that I did it sincerely for your sake, then please remove the rock. So the rock was removed completely from the mouth of the cave. Chapter 99. Buying and selling with Mushrikun and the enemy. Narrated Abdurrahman bin Abu Bakr. We were with the Prophet when a tall pagan with long, matted, unkempt hair came driving his sheep. The Prophet asked him, Are those sheep for sale or for gifts? The pagan replied, They are for sale. The Prophet bought one sheep from him. Chapter 100. The purchase of a slave from the enemy. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, The Prophet Abraham emigrated with Sarah and entered a village where there was a king or a tyrant. The king was told that Abraham had entered the village accompanied by a woman who was one of the most charming women. So the king sent for Abraham and asked, O Abraham, who is this lady accompanying you? Abraham replied, She is my sister, yet in religion. Then Abraham returned to her and said, Do not contradict my statement, for I have informed them that you are my sister. By Allah, there are no true believers on this land except you and one. Then Abraham sent her to the king. When the king got to her, she got up and performed ablution, prayed and said, O Allah, if I have believed in you and your apostle, and I have saved my private parts from everybody except my husband, then please do not let this pagan overpower me. On that the king fell in a mood of agitation and started moving his legs. Seeing the condition of the king, Sarah said, O Allah, if he should die, the people will say that I have killed him. The king regained his power and proceeded towards her, but she got up again and performed ablution, prayed and said, O Allah, if I have believed in you and your apostle and have kept my private parts safe from all except my husband, then please do not let this pagan overpower me. The king again fell in a mood of agitation and started moving his legs. On seeing that state of the king, Sarah said, O Allah, if he should die, the people will say that I have killed him. The king got either 2 or 3 attacks, and after recovering from the last attack, he said, By Allah, you have sent a Satan to me. Take her to Abraham and give her a jar. So she came back to Abraham and said, Allah humiliated the pagan and gave us a slave girl for service. Narrated Aisha. Saad bin Abi Waqqas and Abu bin Sama quarreled over a boy. Saad said, O Allah's messenger, this boy is the son of my brother, Utbah bin Abi Waqqas, who took a promise from me that I would take him as he was his illegal son. Look at him and see whom he resembles. Abu bin Sama said, O Allah's messenger, this is my brother, and was born on my father's bed from a slave girl. Allah Apostle cast a look at the boy and found the definite resemblance to Utbah, and then said, The boy is for you, O Abu bin Sama. The child goes to the owner of the bed, and the adulterer gets nothing, but the stones this spear to be stoned to death. Then the Prophet said, O Sauda bint Sama, screen yourself from this boy. So Sauda never saw him again. Narrated Saad that his father said, Abdurrahman bin Auf said to Suhaib, Fear Allah and do not ascribe yourself to somebody other than your father. Suhaib replied, I would not like to say it, even if I were given large amounts of money, but I say I was kidnapped in my childhood. Narrated Urwa bin As-Zubayr. Hakim bin Hisham said, O Allah's Messenger, I used to do good deeds in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance, e.g. keeping good relations with my kith and kin, manumitting slaves and giving alms. Shall I receive a reward for all that? Allah's Messenger replied, You embraced Islam with all the good deeds which you did in the past. Chapter 101. The hides of dead animals before tanning. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. Once Allah's Messenger passed by a dead sheep and said to the people, Wouldn't you benefit by its skin? The people replied that it was dead. The Prophet said, By its eating only is illegal. Chapter 102. Killing of pigs. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, By him in whose hand my soul is, Son of Mary, Jesus, will shortly descend amongst you people, Muslim, as a just ruler, and will break the cross and kill the pig and abolish the jizya, a tax taken from the non-Muslims who are in the protection of the Muslim government. Then there will be abundance of money and nobody will accept charitable gifts. Chapter 103. The fat of the dead animal should not be sold. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Once Umar was informed that a certain man sold alcohol. Umar said, May Allah curse him. Doesn't he know that Allah's Messenger said, May Allah curse the Jews, for Allah had forbidden them to eat the fat of animals, but they melted it and sold it. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, May Allah curse the Jews, because Allah made fat illegal for them, but they sold it and ate its price. Chapter 104. The selling of the pictures. Narrated Sa'id bin Abu al-Hassan. While I was with Ibn Abbas, a man came and said, O father of Abbas, my sustenance is from my manual profession, and I make these pictures. Ibn Abbas said, I will tell you only what I heard from Allah's Messenger. I heard him saying, Whoever makes a picture will be punished by Allah till he puts life in it, and he will never be able to put life in it. Hearing this, that man heaved a sigh, and his face turned pale. Ibn Abbas said to him, What a pity! If you insist on making pictures, I advise you to make pictures of trees and any other unanimated objects. Chapter 105. Trade of alcoholic drinks is illegal. Narrated Aisha. When the last verses of Surat al-Baqarah were revealed, the Prophet went out of his house to the mosque and said, The trade of alcohol has become illegal. Chapter 106. The sin of a person who sells a free man. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, Allah says, I will be against three persons on the day of resurrection. One who makes a covenant in my name, but he proves treacherous. 2. One who sells a free person as a slave and eats the price. 3. And one who employs a laborer and gets the full work done by him, but does not pay him his wages. Chapter 107. The Prophet ordered the Jews to sell their land. Chapter 108. The sale of a slave for a slave and an animal for an animal on credit. Narrated Anas. Amongst the captives was Safiya. First she was given to Dihya al-Kalbi and then to the Prophet. Chapter 109. The sale of slaves. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, that while he was sitting with Allah's Messenger, he said, O Allah's Messenger, we get female captives as our share of booty, and we are interested in their prices. What is your opinion about coitus interruptus? The Prophet said, Do you really do that? It is better for you not to do it. no soul that which Allah has destined to exist, but will surely come into existence. Chapter 110. The sale Eid, a slave who is promised to be manumitted. Narrated Jabir. The Prophet sold a mudabar on behalf of his master, who was still living and in need of money. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. Allah's Messenger sold a mudabar. Narrated Said bin Khalid and Abu Huraira. That Allah's Messenger was asked about an unmarried slave girl who committed illegal sexual intercourse. They heard him saying, "Flog her, and if she commits illegal sexual intercourse after that, flog her again, and on the third or the fourth offense, sell her." Narrated Abu Huraira. I heard a prophet saying, "If a slave girl of yours commits illegal sexual intercourse and her illegal sexual intercourse is proved, she should be lashed, and after that nobody should blame her. And if she commits illegal sexual intercourse the second time, she should be lashed and nobody should blame her after that. And if she does the offense for the third time and her illegal sexual intercourse is proved, she should be sold even for a hair rope." Chapter 111. Travel with a slave girl. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet came to Khaybar, and when Allah made him victorious and he conquered the town by breaking the enemy's defense, the beauty of Safiya bint Huyay bin Akhtab was mentioned to him, and her husband had been killed while she was a bride. Allah's Messenger selected her for himself, and he set out in her company till he reached Sad al-Rawa, where her menses were over, and he married her. Then hais, a kind of meal, was prepared and served on a small leather sheet, used for serving meals. Allah's Messenger then said to me, "Inform those who are around you about the wedding banquet." So that was the marriage banquet given by Allah's Messenger for his marriage with Safiya. After that we proceeded to Medina, and I saw that Allah's Messenger was covering her with a cloak while she was behind him. Then he will sit beside his camel and let Safiya put her feet on his knees to ride a camel. Chapter 112. The sale of dead animals and idols. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. I heard Allah's Messenger in the year of the conquest of Mecca saying, "Allah and his apostle made illegal the trade of alcohol, dead animals, pigs and idols." The people asked, "O Allah's Messenger, what about the fat of dead animals? For it was used for greasing the boats and the hides, and people use it for lights." He said, "No, it is illegal." Allah's Messenger further said, "May Allah curse the Jews, for Allah made the fat of animals illegal for them, yet they melted the fat and sold it and ate its price." Chapter 113. Price of a dog. Narrated Abu Masud al-Ansari. Allah's Messenger forbade taking the price of a dog, money earned by prostitution, and the earnings of a soothsayer. Narrated Aun bin Abu Juhayfa. I saw my father buying a slave whose profession was cupping, and ordered that his instruments of cupping be broken. I asked him the reason for doing so. He replied, "Allah's Messenger prohibited taking money for blood, the price of a dog, and the earnings of a slave girl by prostitution. He cursed her who tattoos and her who gets tattooed, the eater of riba, ushri, and the maker of pictures."